Hey guys, have you guys ever wanted to learn how to do a pixie and a mullet? Basically business and then a party? I'm gonna show you how to do that coming up. Stay tuned. My name is Jake Thompson. This channel is Jake Thompson Hair. Thanks for joining us. Today, I want to talk about and show you guys how I'm going to do a pixie haircut with a mullet twist involved in that. The thing about hairdressing, I've been hairdressing for about 20 plus years, and I want to show you guys some of the cool things that has made me successful. So stay tuned, let's get right into it, guys. So right when I want to get into this, I want to kind of establish my shortest point. My shortest point is going to be in the front, right? And so with my shortest point being in the front, we're going to have very beautiful pixie right through that front area, and then we're going to leave a little bit more length in the back. Let's start with the front area. We're going to be cutting this with a razor. The thing about using a razor is that a razor allows you can get very erratic texture in the hair. You can get a very clean texture in the hair. So what we're going to do is we are just going to cut through here. You can see how this is where we're going to establish our fringe right through here. And if you have never used a razor before, or if you're not that comfortable with a razor, I would recommend practicing on a mannequin head. I would not use your first-time clients in the salon or even clients that have been seeing you for multiple years as a guinea pig, unless you feel extremely comfortable with a razor. Like anything, I'm cutting this into a round shape, okay? We want to have a little bit more length to kind of play with around the sides, right through here. And I'm just going to mirror that section. I'm going to hold this up just a little bit. And as I come towards, a little bit more towards the back, I go a little bit more chop with those sections. When you razor cut, I'm going to use the toe as I move towards my right side, and then I'm going to use my heel as I go towards my left side. And then from here, let's take that round section to where it's going to mimic that same section that we had from before. Okay, so we're just going to mimic those lines going down. We're going to mimic these lines going down. So now that I have completed those sections in the front, we are going to bring this hair forward. We're going to pull this, over-direct this forward, and then we're going to continue that line down through there. And then take a vertical section back through here. I'm going to over-direct this forward, continue that line all the way down. As I bring this all forward, what's going to happen is that the length is going to increase in the back because you're over-directing all of this hair forward, and so it'll keep maximum length right down the center of the back. Is this hair going to live over here? No, absolutely not. And so this hair lives right here in the back. And so what's going to happen is you're going to get extreme like round line throughout the back. And so we're going to have that length right through that center back to enjoy. And then we'll pop some color in here as well. If I was to keep this just like this would be a very Dorothy Hamill kind of shape. And anybody that's a little bit older like myself is going to know exactly what that is. This could be almost like a very like bowl cut. And I want to go in and I want to take away that bowl. So I'm going to go in and add a lot of different texture. And we're going to do that with a razor, and we're going to go in and we're going to slice out, slice out, slice out. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to take the same sections that I had taken before, and I'm not going to take that direct hairline piece, which would essentially be that one right there. I'm going to take and I'm going to go back just a little bit further. So I'm going to take this section right through here, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut out. And so you can see that there's gonna be 2 channels. And so you're gonna have really short hair in there, and you're gonna have those 2 channels that are going to come out. And what that's going to do is that's gonna help create texture within this. And that'll take away that strong, bowl looking kind of cut to it. So back through here, back through there. That hair is going to stick up right through there, okay? On a mannequin head, it doesn't necessarily matter, because you can take where that textured point, and with any sort of client, you can start really close, you can start here, you can start there. You don't have to start as close with this, but since this is a mannequin head, I really want to go in a little bit more extreme with it. So I really kind of want to show off that texture. And so you'll start to see these portions of long bits through here, which are really going to give it a lot of PC texture. Now I've done this mohawk section, I'm going to continue this on the sides. And we're going to start over here on her right side. And I leave a little bit of that hairline out. I leave that out right through there. Here, I'm just going to go into it just like so. I'm not going in and I'm not pressing super hard, because a razor can be a fairly aggressive tool. It can also be a fairly soft tool. It's all about how soft you are on the hair. If you touch the hair really super hard, or if you're like very soft with it. So it really just depends on you and your personal taste and how you're going to go about this. The thing that I'm really kind of starting to notice is that when you start to look at this, of course you're going to still have like that length through there, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to personalize a lot of this length as it starts to dry. So I'll do 50, 60% of my haircut when it's wet, and then I'll go in, I'll dry it, and I'll do the rest of the 40%. And that in itself is really where me as a hairdresser, that's where my personality comes in, and that's where my unique flavor. And that's why when I do clients, I always let them know that, hey, listen, like this is where I'm going with the haircut right now. I'm gonna dry it, then we're gonna personalize it, those kind of things. I'm not gonna go through and use a brush with it. I wanna use my fingers. I really kind of wanna push and mold the hair, really kind of how the hair would naturally dry. So I'm not gonna put this on a high heat. I don't wanna blast the hair. I just really kind of wanna push and mold the hair. So first off, as I dried it, I really just tried to use the weight of the blow dryer, pushing it against the scalp to try and get really no sort of like large amounts of volume. I don't really want to extend it out. I really kind of want it to be formed right to the head shape really nicely through there. So what I want to do now is I want to go through and I want to remove some of this hair through here. So I'm going to go through and just point cut and remove this hair. And again, I'm not looking for ultra disciplined, because we're gonna color the hair and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna refine even more. If you were to take away this hair through here, this would be, and you were to cut all of this hair off through there, that would be essentially just a pixie, right? Because a pixie is gonna be anywhere between super short to anywhere between here, right? And when you start to getting into longer lengths, then you start getting into like mid lengths. But a pixie is something that's gonna be very close to the scalp to within about 3 to 4 inches. And so what we wanted to do is that I wanted to do a pixie throughout pretty much, I would say 3/4 of the head, and the rest of it, we're gonna leave a little bit of length in the back. So that's where that mullet comes in. And with this, I'm really just trying to soften up what's happening through here. And so I'm going through and I'm point cutting to soften up all of this stuff. And this is where you start to personalize with a haircut. So as a guest comes in and you start to look at them in the mirror and you're kind of like, all right, cool, we want to take a little bit more weight out of like this area. We want to enclose this in a little bit through here. So I'm going to be working on this specific area right through here. I'm not point cutting at a 45-degree angle. I'm actually point cutting parallel to the hair. So think of it like this. Think of it as a pair of skis. And so I'm point cutting directly in between that hair to remove the softest amount of bulk in there. When I went through with that razor, we went through and we took out a lot of that almost chunky weight in there. And we still have that. Now I'm just softening up the points in between, because that chunky texture that we took out before is going to lay the groundwork for what we're doing right now. So everything kind of has a rhyme and a reason to it, and that's my rhyme and that's my reason. And you want to make sure you're using scissors that are long enough. If the blades aren't long enough, you're going to get hair that kind of bends as it goes in. So you want to make sure that you have the proper tools to do this, because if you don't have the proper tools, you're not going to be able to get the effect that you're trying to get. Please, when you are in the salon, use the mirror. Don't use the mirror to consult with. You know, we can get into that in another video, but the whole point is you want to use the mirror to look at what you're looking at. And I'll show you, like, if I'm facing you and you were the mirror, I'd be looking at you and be like, okay, cool. So, you know, how's everything looking as far as balance, blah, 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 blah. Like, because again, use the mirror to tell what you're doing, because it's going to be anywhere between 3, 4, 5, 6 feet away, and you can start to look what you're doing. So now I'm going to start to soften up that hair in the back. And you can see how bulky this is compared to how light this is. So I want to go in and I want to start to remove that bulk through that area. I'm just going to start to kind of cut into it just a little bit, because I really just want to loosen up the actual line itself. And I'm not going too aggressive into it. As you can see, now as I kind of brush through that, you'll see that hair fall. Now I'm not going to go in and do too much more. You can see how it kind of softened up that line through there, because I want to color it and I still want to have some hair to work with as we start to color through there. So I'm going to leave that a little bit longer, but as you can start to see and you can start to play with this, you can create some height, which that height comes from that short hair in there. And then, I mean, we can push these in. She could tuck this behind her ear if she had ears that stuck out. She's a mannequin head, so she doesn't, it keeps poking out. But if she could, like, she could now enhance that shape and bring out that length even more through there, which could kind of hug in. I mean, there's so much versatility to this. She could probably, if somebody had this haircut, you know, they would probably wake up in the morning, and this might be all kind of like nappy through here. Go through here, put a little bit of water in, reactivate some of that wave and that curl. She could put some product right through here and she could rock and she could leave. One of the things to consider is an oval face shape could wear this really well. You want to be careful of pear-shaped face, because the pear-face shape is going to be more wider at the jawline. You want to make sure that they're fairly balanced between bottom to top and top to bottom, and then left to right, right to left. So keep in mind when you are going to do something like this, face shape is super important. We're going to do another video where we dive really deep into face shapes and what are some of the things that make face shapes so unique, and what are some of the best haircuts for unique face shapes, how to color around face shapes, things like that. So stay tuned for that as well. I've been in the industry 20 plus years, and I have colored everything from very conservative hair to very wild to everything in between. So with that, I want to show you what we're going to be doing today. We know we're getting dirty. Gloves are coming on. All right. It's got to go with my whole ensemble. I look like Zorro, right? Look at this, you know, black on black. We got to make sure the bracelet comes out. You know what I mean? All right, let's color this mannequin head. We're gonna be doing purely pigmented color. Okay, so this should color this shape really amazing, and it's probably gonna stain the scalp. If it does, so be it. It's a mannequin head. All right, let's get into this. Woo. All right, this is a midnight color right through here. And we're gonna try and keep any of this color off of the ends. So I'm really making sure that my parts are extremely clean here. I do not want any of that color getting on those ends right through there. So I'm gonna part this off, get that right at the regrowth. And as I approach more length in the back, I'm gonna drag it up just a little bit further. As we get further in the back, we're gonna drag that up more and more and more, because we want more of a shadow in the back along that bottom. When I'm applying color to a round shape, I like to mimic the same lines that I cut in. It just helps me because I can follow those same lines and I can push it back. So now that we have gotten the roots, and we've gotten the roots to where it's just barely the root right around the front, and the further we go back, we actually have it coming out a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further. And so the regrowth is just touched right at the front through here, and then as it goes progressively back, it's gonna be a little bit further out. So it's gonna have more shadow in the back area. So let's apply some blue now. So as I start to paint this on, I'm really trying to paint it right up to the midnight color at the root. So I'll take each section, I'll take about 1/2 inch sections. Go ahead and apply that color. What we did is we applied a midnight shade, which is about probably like a level 3 in the color line that I used. And so you can see that at the root, and we didn't fill it at all. And so you can see that it's kind of like it doesn't have the intensity that a dark really should have, but I'm okay with that actually. And then what we did is we applied like a little bit of an aqua blue. It came out a little bit greenish blue. That's kind of an aqua blue anyways. If the hair would have been a little bit brighter, it of course would have been brighter. These hairdressers all know that. But it's a mannequin head, I'm okay with it. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. So as I start to shape this up, I'm really kind of starting to scrunch and bring a lot of that shape back into it. You know, you're starting to kind of see a little bit of wave with this. With the product that I applied, you're starting to see, because it's got almost kind of like a very taffy-ish kind of texture to it. But I really want to bring out the highs and the lows in the hair. I want it to have like a nice pieciness to it as well. And the other thing too is I'm really looking at balance. One of the things is that this flows all the way down to the bottom, right? I really love how the color's starting to look with this. I think we transformed it amazing. I hope you guys dig that. If you do, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment on it, all right? Let me know what you thought of it. Really guys, at the end of the day, it's all about practice. You as hairdressers need to practice your craft. Who are great people to practice on? Mannequin heads. So I would encourage you, practice your craft. If you do, and you're proud of it, even if you're not proud of it, upload it to Instagram, share it in the comments on YouTube, tag me. I'm at Jake Thompson Hair on Instagram. We're gonna link that right there. The people that are mentors to me, you know, I reach out to them. I message them on Instagram. I just wanna let you guys know that we're in a small world and we can find inspiration from anybody. So feel free to reach out to me, write me in the comments, I'll respond. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed teaching it. I'll see you guys next week. My name is Jake Thompson Hair. Bye.